This is Ingredient Insiders. I'm John Magazino.
And I'm Andrea Parkins.
On each episode of Ingredient Insiders, we'll be speaking with chefs and food writers about their favorite ingredients.
We then speak to the producer of that ingredient to learn its history, how it's made, and why chefs love using it in their restaurants.
Today, we're going to be talking about pâtés, charcuterie, or if you're speaking Italian, salumi. But we're really talking about cured meats and terrines and pâtés.
Yeah, but typically, like you just said it, if you're speaking Italian.
Yes.
So when you said all those things, my mind immediately goes to Italian.
Yes.
But this week's episode, we're talking about French-inspired salumi.
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking with Sébastien Espinasse of Fabrique Délices, which is a San Francisco-based producer of incredible cured meats and incredible pâtés and terrines. And I actually wanted to ask you, are you a fan of the pâté of terrines?
Yes.
Talk to me. What do you like?
So I am typically, and I know that they do both at Fabrique. They do the truffle mousse, they do a black pepper mousse, they do one with port wine, and they also do a country mousse, which is typically like a little more coarse. Personally, I love it like very smooth. You do? I do, like spreadable.
I like the rougher one, like the country style pâté or a green peppercorn pâté.
You like the texture?
I'm happy with it crumbly because also if you really push down on it, it is smooth.
Yep.
I just picture that as like my ultimate like French picnic is like a beautiful baguette, a nice thick slice of a country style pâté or terrine, maybe a bottle of wine, a piece of cheese.
You need wine.
What else do you need? I'm done. That's a meal.
100%. Oh, now that's what I want to eat right now, John.
So we are going to be talking all about these amazing pâtés, terrines, and charcuterie with Sébastien, and I cannot wait.
This season of Ingredient Insiders is brought to you by Bazzini Nuts. Bazzini is the brand of choice among chefs in the finest hotels and restaurants. Their legacy of quality extends to gourmet retail stores, specialty boutiques, grocery distributors, and delis, ensuring you have access to their extensive range of consumer retail packages. It all started in 1886 when Italian immigrant Anthony L. Bazzini began selling nuts by the pound to bakers, street vendors, and individuals during the Great Depression. But Bazzini Nuts isn't just about peanuts. They offer a delightful array of nuts like cashews, almonds, pecans, pistachios, hazelnuts, and more, plus a tempting selection of dried fruit, including apricots, cranberries, figs, dates, prunes, and tomatoes. So whether at the ballpark, in the kitchen, or indulging in some well-deserved self-care, choose Bazzini Nuts. With a legacy spanning 137 years, they're here to serve your needs with the same consistency, reliability, and quality, making them an iconic name in the world of nuts and dried fruits. Bazzini Nuts, tradition, quality, and taste all in one. Taste the legacy today.
This episode is in partnership with The Chef's Warehouse and produced by Gotham Production Studios in New York City. Andrea, this is a great episode for Andrea.
Oh, yeah.
Because even though you're the prosciutto queen, that's what you're known as.
Yes. I love all charcuterie.
Yeah, so I was going to say, we're talking...
equal opportunity charcuterie lover here.
You're cured meats, you're good.
Woo.
Like today, maybe you're the jambon de Bayonne queen.
The Bayonne, yeah. Ham
Bayonne
queen.
Ham. So we are very lucky today. We've got Sébastien Espinasse from Fabrique Délices, who's this extraordinary producer of some of the best pâtés, cured meats, charcuterie. They've even got a new line of plant-based charcuterie.
Yes, I can't wait to hear about
products.
Their innovation.
And based in Northern California. Sébastien, welcome to the show. Welcome to Ingredient Insiders. It's so great to be here with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Judd. Thank you, Andrea. Glad to be here.
Tell us about Fabrique. You've been at Fabrique Délices. You're the president of Fabrique Délices. You've been there for 25 years?
Yes.
Tell us about Fabrique Délices. For those people who do not know, for all the chefs out there listening, what do you guys do?
And how did you get to Fabrique?
So, I came to Fabrique kind of, I would say by luck at the beginning because I came to study in San Francisco in 1996 and, fall in love with the city. And after my MBA, didn't want to leave. And through a friend, met like the two entrepreneurs who, just bought, this, small company and were looking for somebody to help them out in designing like a, a line of charcuterie and market the product, in the US. And I grew up in a very small village in France, and on the side of my mom, my grandpa was a chef. He had a restaurant and hotels, and on the other side, he was a farmer. So he was kind of the both of best world to make charcuterie products.
So you grew up eating well, it sounds like.
Yes, I never had canned food, So and at the farm we had cows, chicken, ducks. So we even made kind of foie gras and pâtés and blood sausage, and all of that.
What part of France did you grow up in?
Grew up in the southwest, it's called Corrèze region, and very close to the Périgord area.
So the land of foie gras and ducks, and Armagnac,
pretty
and all
much
those delicious things, and truffles.
Yeah, I was gonna say truffles.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I was kind of spoiled because I know every time I was coming back from school, I was going to the stable with my grandparents and feeding the baby calf, and it was a great experience. And every season, you have something. Either you have harvesting wine, you're doing, you have a corn, you're harvesting like apple. So you're exposed to all of those kind of basic ingredients that are making like great food today. So when we put up a product together, you have all of these kind of memory from your childhood it's coming back, and the flavor you're looking for, it's in your kind of
those taste memories.
Yes.
Does that influence how you develop recipes at Fabrique?
Yes, it does. Yeah, because we are, we're very proud about the authenticity of the product and the line. And we want to have the line to be very consistent across the board, from the fresh sausage to the pâté. And, in France, we really like to have, the product balance between the texture, the flavor. And because, we enjoy food with, with wine most of the time. and you don't want to have conflict between your wine and your food. So, we grown up like that, basically, having kind of balanced food. Yeah.
So you grew up in southwestern France. You said you came to Northern California for school, for university.
Yeah.
And then the gentlemen that were running Fabrique Délices at that time, were they from France as well?
Yeah. One was from France, Meaux, where the brie comes from, and another one was from Portugal, but moved to France at an early age and went to the Le Nôtre school.
Yeah, and
he was the charcutier. His name was Antonio, and the other gentleman was Mark. And I spent 20 plus years with them, and we kind of developed, as we go, more like duck products because of the influence of where I was coming from, and I wanted to have duck confit, smoked duck prosciutto, duck rillettes, so we kind of extend the line. And when we started when I joined them in 1998, basically in the US is where Bill Nyman was started.
Sure.
Alice Water was starting, launching the organic trends. Whole Food had a couple of stores, so the all natural movement was starting in Northern California.
Yeah.
So we got into it.
Yeah.
And kind of follow the trends. Yeah. So.
Where was the production done specifically? Was it in San Francisco itself or outside of San Francisco?
Now, we used to be in San Mateo.
Okay, yeah.
In San Mateo, in a very small plant, like 3,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
And we are trying to look for a place to grow. And, at the time, it was the big first .com wave. And so impossible to find a location at a right price. So we had to jump across the bay and find land in Hayward, pretty close to, all of the, food company that landed in around, that time. And we built up like a 20,000 square feet from ground and made him like all, move forward plants, in charcuterie to avoid cross-contamination, and all of that. So design it like same type we have in France, yeah. So
when I think of Fabrique Délices, Andrea, I think of these beautiful pâtés and terrines and things that I really like. I was lucky to go to France as a kid in high school and try a pâté de campagne or a green peppercorn terrine for the first time.
Yeah.
And you really couldn't find those in the United States. And then along came Fabrique Délices. And I just I love those
Heavenly,
products. And
heavenly.
they're not readily found in the US.
No.
So where, are those are what I think of as like your foundational products, the pâtés, the terrines, very traditional.
And also the duck. I mean, for me, when I think of Fabrique, it's the duck prosciutto.
Sure.
Like I think it's one of the best products that we sell. It's something that's super special and unique. So, word association.
Yeah.
Fabrique Délices, for me, it's the duck prosciutto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, where do you guys source the raw materials? Is it, are the ducks and the foie gras and the products that are being used, or if it's pork, is it all coming from California?
I mean, some are coming from California and some not. For example, when we do a truffle mousse, we use a chicken liver that comes from California, from Fresno. We use a Pitman farm, from the Mary's chicken brand.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's raised outside, no hormones, no antibiotics, grain fed. So we pay a lot of attention to the sourcings of the meat. Ducks. We use, Hudson Valley or Culver Ducks or, Grimaud Farm too. So it depends because when Fabrique Délices, the specifics of it too, it's, I would say we don't cut corners, and we, according to what type of product we're going to make, there's some certain ingredients or type of ducks or type of pork that you're going to have to use. And this is because you have a yield sometimes, and if you want to have the good ratio between fat and meat, you have to use the right ingredients. So, this is also the art of charcuterie, to try to use the right piece of meat to get the right finished product. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. We're talking a lot about sourcing meat and pork and chicken livers, but I know that you're really kind of shifting and pivoting to plant-based. How's that journey been?
We met a couple of friends, from Berkeley that started just this plant. I mean, they started like 5 years ago researching about, koji mushroom and making some ham, plant-based ham. And when it came to pâtés, they reached out to us and say, would you take a look at our product? And I will remember when they came first at the plants, the pâté was looking kind of like a Play-Doh. It was very firm, very firm and not spreadable. So, I took them to the plant and I said, look at, how the way we work here, how we push the product through the stuffer and all of that. And I think it's impossible to make what you're looking for here if you really want to have this recipe. So what we can do is help you out, because you're looking at to make a pâté. So if you want to make a pâté, you might have, or a mousse, it need to be spreadable.
Right.
So they say yes. So, the engineer, say, come back next week and we'll come back with a new formulation. So they came back and this is what, we had today, because something very spreadable and very flavorful. Yeah. So
what is the base? Tell us a little bit about, I guess, the recipe, if you can.
The recipe is kind of secret,
Okay.
and the main ingredients is a koji mushroom.
Okay.
And a lot of plant-based, company right now is using a lot of, mushroom. But for me, it was kind of very interesting to see that this product, we could make it like very close to the pâté. So the team at Fabrique was, it was very easy to kind of make this product, and with our equipment and also the way to cook it, all the way to pack it, was it's kind of the same process. Yeah.
Are there any other plant-based products that you're working on outside of pâté? I've seen in the stores, and I can't bring myself to purchase them, but like a plant-based prosciutto and plant-based, other charcuteries. Is that something that you would consider, or?
For now, we'll be probably pâté.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, I would say that our, know-how is a lot about charcuterie, and I think pâté is kind of our bread and butter, and,
right.
and we want to capitalize on that, and people knows us a lot about, our pâté. So
sure.
We're gonna start with the pâté to see, where it goes. And if there is some room for development, we'll take the way. Yeah.
Let's talk about like top selling items. What are some of your best selling items at Fabrique Délices today? Andrea mentioned that duck prosciutto that she absolutely loves.
Yeah.
And I love the truffle mousse too. It's very good.
Yeah. I mean, just to give you a little idea what's kind of very funny, through COVID, the product mix that was selling the best before COVID and now are totally different.
Huh. Why is that?
Buying habits also of consumer, restaurant. I mean, through the pandemic, the restaurants, were totally,
restaurants went quiet and the consumer
quiet.
business.
So the retail, were going up. The online also were taking taking over at that time. So the product mix has been like, switching, on and off because, we had more stability before.
Sure.
Yeah.
And after everything was disrupted.
Yep.
And obviously, even the product mix was totally, disrupted. Yeah. So right now, our top seller is the truffle mousse. Is the chicken liver mousse.
Andrea's favorite. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Yeah. So very creamy. It's also when we started, launching this product, this product is pork free also. So doesn't mean a lot, but when you say pork free, it can reach a larger variety of customer. And when it comes to pâté, as the market is very small, it's a big plus. Yeah. And the product is all natural, no sodium nitrate, no artificial ingredients. So it's very very clean label. Yeah.
Andrea, what do you do with truffle mousse?
I'm embarrassed to share this.
Shay Parkins.
Typically I eat it.
She's like,
I'm like
out of the fridge.
I'm like,
at
the fridge is
with
still
a
open. Like I'm literally picturing myself like in my pajamas. The fridge is open.
Some people reach for the pint of Ben and Jerry's, and you reach for the mousse.
Nope, I'm a savory girl, 100%. I rather eat cheese and charcuterie than anything. So I typically, and I think most people do with pâté, I like to pair it with something sweet. So I'll, some sort of a fig jam or, other type of fruit spread on a cracker, on a toast. And, and I smear it.
Yeah. Sounds delicious.
Yeah. How do you eat?
My pâté?
Yeah.
I love a baguette sliced, obviously. And just, smear. And sometimes I will do exactly what you said. Maybe if I have a little like fruit preserve of some sort, or even a sweet vinegar, like a reduced vinegar. Yeah. A pinch of salt, maybe some celery or a fleur de sel.
Like a flaky salt?
Yes.
Yum.
Yes.
How do you like it, Sebastian?
Yeah, as John said, like a nice fresh baguette.
Yeah.
And just, spread a little bit of truffle mousse and having like a little cornichon, next to it,
Of course.
I know. I actually have a question. It just popped in my head. On top of the pâté is the layer of aspic. What is the history there with that?
We call it like gelatin. And on a small terrine, most of the time when you pour, the pâté into the terrine and you cook it off in the oven, you're gonna have a little bit of evaporation on top. So the gelatin is gonna fill up the gap.
Got it.
And also
preservative, I would think.
And preserve also the top, because
sometimes it does change color a little bit when it hits the air.
Like a golden color, yeah. But that's a
it's normal.
I feel like it's a preservative of sorts to seal in.
Yeah, because we used to, for example, our duck rillette and pork rillette, we seal it with duck fat or pork fat, the way it was, done years ago. But on the pâté, in Europe, they will put like, maybe duck fat on top of the duck mousse. But here in the US, if we put duck fat, sometimes people might be scare away.
Well, they're monsters because I want all the duck fat all the time.
Don't listen to those people.
Who are they?
I want more duck fat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I would say more natural, duck fat than gelatin, but yeah.
Ooh, duck fat.
Tell us some more products that are like the big sellers.
We do like a, saucisson sec.
Yes, like a dry sausage, yeah.
The dry saucisson. So, again, we don't cut corners. We are trying to kind of replicate the same flavor of saucisson sec that you can find in France that can dry as it goes. So we have it's in a bag, perforated, and the saucisson will dry as it goes. And the French people have a tendency to like the saucisson a little bit drier. So we kind of do the affinage before we release the saucisson. I mean, saucisson, we are not looking for a huge volume, but we are looking for quality and consistency. So,
but I feel like in the last couple of years, we've always sold the pâtés and the duck products and the salamis, but the cooked ham has really been, I feel like, kind of like a new star.
Sure.
Yeah, the jambon de Paris has been the new star, this year. And right after pandemic, because if you remember, after pandemic, all of the bakeries were the leading restaurants, in the US and probably in the world. But so we are supposed to launch this ham March 2020 with Jen Sussman, and she called me and she said, "Sorry, we're gonna put a pause." But in June, she called me and she said, "I'm gonna do some cleanup and we're gonna launch the ham." And I said, "Okay, we'll be ready." And yeah, I mean, Chef's Warehouse is one of the largest customers for the ham, nationwide today. So it was a good decision.
Would you recommend this ham for a croque monsieur, a croque madame? Is that typical?
Yeah, it's typical. Yeah, I mean, jambon de Paris, it's a fully cooked ham. So what do? We assemble like the whole three muscles. And use a French spice mix and cook the product sous vide. So when the product is cooked sous vide, you keep all of the moisture, along the way, and you have a nice shelf life as well. You have about 6 months, but the product keep that moisture, which is very important. And once you start, opening up the package, slicing it, you still have the moisture along the way, and this is what you're looking for. And because
he's smiling as he's talking about it. Do you see that?
Yeah, I did see
that. He's getting excited.
Yeah, because as anybody coming from or anybody coming to the US from a different country, you're always missing something.
Sure.
And people from France will say, I'm gonna miss a salami, I'm gonna miss a jambon de Paris. And or the Italian, when they go back to Italy, they're gonna have their espresso. They're gonna have their soppressata. So we're all missing something.
So you filled that hole in your heart with your ham. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up. Mom was making quiches. Was making a pizza. Was making croque monsieur. So it's natural. I have a slicer at home in my counter all the time. So
I would expect nothing less from the charcuterie king of California.
California, yeah.
So what are some of the trends that you're seeing in retail? I know that, you mentioned plant-based. Are there other things that people are asking for these days that, you're finding trends in the industry?
Yeah, there's a new trend that we kind of, jump in like a year ago, and it was the halal certification.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so some airline kitchen, came to see us and ask us if we were interested in making some sausages, for them.
Halal approved. That's big. We, Chef's Warehouse opened up a division in the Middle East.
Yep.
In the last 2 years, and that has become a real area of focus for us as well.
Absolutely.
Making sure that the meats are halal approved.
Yes. So, we had to do some research, but we find out that we were making a lamb merguez, and the lamb that we are using was already halal.
Right.
Oh, that worked out.
Yeah, so that part was easy. So we started with the lamb merguez and converted this one to, halal certified, and after that, moving on into a chicken breakfast, and Qatar Airlines just asked us like last week to make them like chicken chorizo, halal sausage.
Yeah.
So we are kind of developing as we go because it's kind of totally new market for us. But we would like to kind of bring like higher quality to the halal market now. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, Chef's Warehouse for restaurants and chefs, you can find the products from Fabrique Délices all across the United
country,
States.
Yeah.
Where can the home consumer find Fabrique Délices products?
I mean, our consumer can find, Fabrique Délices, on our online stores. I mean, Fabrique Délices, the beauty and sometimes the hard to find product, you can find, pâté easily, around the country. But sometimes people are trying to find what they eat in a restaurant, and what they eat in a restaurant might be, andouillettes or blood sausage or duck prosciutto or smoked duck breast or saucisson sec or things like that. And they will have to go online mostly to find those hard to find items.
So is it fabriquedelices.com?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
thank
this
you.
has been such a great and informative conversation. Sébastien Espinasse, the president of Fabrique Délices.
Thank you so much for being here.
This has been awesome. Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Ingredient Insiders. Follow us on Instagram at Ingredient Insiders. You can find the products we've discussed on today's episode at chefswarehouse.com or at your favorite specialty retailer.